There is a purple box sitting in the pharmacy aisle of every grocery store in America. It costs $2.47. It has been on that shelf since 1891. And inside that box is the single most effective magnesium delivery system for garden soil ever documented. A compound that increases tomato yields by up to 300% and eliminates blossom end rot permanently. The $4 billion fertilizer industry has known about this since a formal USDA soil study in 1938. Yet they've never once mentioned it in any marketing material or gardening guide that it has funded or influenced. The box is Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, and Amish families have used it since before Miracle-Gro existed. The average American home gardener spends $40 to $80 per growing season on commercial fertilizer. The Epsom salt application costs $2.47 per season for the same garden. Over 20 years, the difference is over $1,500. And Epsom salt produces results commercial fertilizer cannot. Commercial fertilizer is formulated to address every nutrient need except the one most American garden soil is most deficient in. That deficiency is magnesium. Understanding why the industry has no incentive to correct it is the foundation of this video. Magnesium is the central atom of the chlorophyll molecule. Every green plant on Earth uses magnesium to capture sunlight and convert it to chemical energy. Without adequate magnesium, the plant cannot build chlorophyll efficiently. Without adequate chlorophyll, it cannot photosynthesize. Without efficient photosynthesis, it cannot produce the sugars that feed fruit development. The tomato that gets inadequate magnesium produces less fruit, smaller fruit, and fruit with the calcium absorption problems that produce blossom end rot. The dark leathery patch on the bottom of the tomato that ruins the fruit, and that millions of American gardeners have been told is caused by irregular watering. Irregular watering is a contributing factor. The primary cause is calcium deficiency in the developing fruit tissue. Calcium deficiency in the fruit is caused not by the absence of calcium in the soil, but by the plant's inability to move calcium. The mechanism that moves calcium through plant tissue requires adequate magnesium in the root zone. Without magnesium, calcium sits in the soil and in the leaves, but does not reach the developing fruit. The blossom end rots. The gardener blames the watering schedule. The fertilizer company sells more calcium-supplemented tomato fertilizer that does not address the underlying magnesium deficiency. The 1938 USDA soil study examined magnesium depletion across 12 states. It found that intensive cultivation combined with rainfall leaching had depleted plant-available magnesium to deficiency levels across 60% of surveyed agricultural land. The study recommended magnesium supplementation as a standard practice and documented the yield response in tomatoes, peppers, and other high-value crops. The study was published in 1938. Commercial synthetic fertilizer formulations already contained nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Adding magnesium would have required reformulating profitable products already positioned as complete plant nutrition solutions. The magnesium recommendations were never incorporated into general-purpose fertilizer products. The deficiency has continued and deepened ever since. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate heptahydrate. It is completely water-soluble, meaning it dissolves instantly in soil moisture. It becomes immediately available to plant roots without any conversion process. Commercial magnesium fertilizers in granular form require microbial activity and soil chemistry to convert them to plant-available forms. Epsom salt requires nothing. It dissolves, enters the soil solution, and the roots take it up. The application method has been standardized through generations of Amish practice. At planting time, dissolve 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt in 1 gallon of water. Apply to the soil around each tomato or pepper transplant before setting the plant in the ground. This delivers magnesium directly to the root zone when the transplant's root system is most actively establishing. At first flower, apply a second dose of 2 tablespoons per plant as a dry application around the drip line. Water it in with normal irrigation. This coincides with the plant's period of most rapid fruit set, when magnesium demand is highest. For plants showing deficiency symptoms, like yellowing of the leaves between the veins, The fastest remedy is foliar application. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in 1 quart of warm water and spray directly on affected leaves. Spray in the early morning or late evening. The leaves absorb the solution through their stomata within 24 hours. This produces visible greening within 3 to 5 days. It delivers magnesium directly to the tissue where it is needed. This bypasses root uptake entirely, providing a quick boost to your garden's health. Miracle-Gro's standard formula is 24-8-2-16. 24% nitrogen, 8% phosphorus, 16% potassium. It contains no magnesium. The formula was designed in the 1950s to produce visible, dramatic results quickly in the categories that consumers could see. Nitrogen drives leafy green growth visible immediately after application. The gardener sees vigorous growth and associates it with good nutrition. What is happening at the biological level is more complicated. High nitrogen availability triggers the plant to prioritize leaf tissue production. The plant allocates resources toward leaves because that is what high nitrogen signals. Fruit production requires a different nutrient balance, specifically lower nitrogen and adequate magnesium and calcium. The Miracle-Gro gardener, who applies the product faithfully, typically observes abundant foliage and disappointing fruit yield. This is the expected result of the formula's nitrogen emphasis. The Amish gardener, who applies 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt at planting and first flower, observes moderate foliage and abundant fruit. The fertilizer industry is aware of this dynamic. The marketing of nitrogen-heavy formulas emphasizes visible, immediate green growth. Because visible results drive repeat purchases. A formula that produced less dramatic foliage but more abundant fruit would be harder to market, because the consumer cannot see the fruit developing in the first 3 weeks. The green leaves are visible from week 1. The repeat purchase is secured. The long-term consequence of Miracle-Gro use is also worth describing. High nitrogen input without corresponding organic matter addition acidifies soil over time, reducing the activity of the soil biology that makes other nutrients available. The soil becomes dependent on synthetic nitrogen input because the biological nutrient cycling that healthy soil provides has been disrupted. The gardener needs more fertilizer every year to produce the same results. The purchase cycle continues indefinitely. Rosies, 1 tablespoon per foot of plant height twice per growing season, dissolved in water and applied as a drench, produces more abundant flowering, deeper color, and stronger cane growth. The Amish community has maintained this protocol for generations. Potatoes, 2 tablespoons per plant at hilling time. The 1938 USDA study documented a 28% average yield increase with magnesium supplementation. Citrus, monthly application of 1 tablespoon per foot of tree height, dissolved in water. Corrects deficiency symptoms within 2 to 3 months and maintains productive fruit set. Peppers, same rate and timing as tomatoes. Produces consistently larger, thicker-walled fruits with better color development. Leafy greens and brassicas do not respond. Lettuce, spinach, kale, broccoli. Their production is driven primarily by nitrogen. Do not apply. The soil test. Excess magnesium suppresses calcium uptake by competing for root sites. A basic test from your county extension service costs $5 to $8. The Lamont kit at most garden centers costs $8 to $12. If your soil tests above 25 parts per million magnesium, do not apply. If below, which is the case for 60% of American garden soils, apply at the rates described. Total materials cost for 10 tomatoes, 6 peppers, and 4 roses for 1 season. $3.50 in Epsom salt. Commercial fertilizer, $60 to $90. Drop in the comments whether you have seen intervenal chlorosis, yellow leaves with green veins. That is magnesium deficiency. The box that fixes it costs $2.47 and has been in the pharmacy aisle your entire life. The Amish put 2 tablespoons around every plant. The purple box does not say anything about tomatoes. The knowledge is in the family book. Now it is in this video.